First March video, if I'm not mistaken. Because I didn't do one yesterday. Yeah, it's the first March video. We got a lot to unpackage here. This is something else. A way to start the month off. Did a video not too long ago. What was that? Maybe last week when I talked about, it was a short video. It was like 2 minutes long. And I talked about how Bernie supporters, and I'm not saying that this person is specifically a Bernie supporter, but it's along those lines. And this is why I said it's not exclusive to Bernie supporters if she's not. But there are these types that have an end game and they work backwards instead of using the logical conclusion and an actual starting point based on any sort of evidence. Okay? And because they do that, they are so fixated on proving that their opposition is sexist, racist, whatever buzz terms that you want to throw out there. So this person, let's get right into it. Let's not even waste any time. This person right here claimed that taxation and theft was shot at the libertarian white man while driving on public roads to drop his kids off at public high school. Okay. So keep in mind, there's nothing that if she took out or added white, it wouldn't have. If she took out white, it wouldn't have mattered. Like it would. This doesn't like prove anything right here. She's just up and saying like, "Hey," to the libertarian white man. Okay, gotcha. So I said every time because y'all know we play this game where over at Twitter, it seems like the folks that are always in opposition to libertarianism, the first thing that they bring up, of course, the roads, the lovely, 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 lovely roads. Okay. So we said every time, or I said every time, and she from me saying, literally responding to me saying every time, goes right into this about as scathing a retort as one should expect from a misogynist who rallies behind fundamentally flawed ideology that puts others at risk because he's found a way to monetize it. Yawn. So this is interesting because and this was not just in that particular message or tweet, she's talking about basically conflating white folk with, and I think, let me see, because I believe that I got tagged in one, if I'm not mistaken, from some person that I followed. Let me see if I could find one. I know Kenzie brought it up. It was a tweet that, where is it at? There it is. Libertarianism is the ideology of white privilege. Survival of the fittest emboldens the strong and leaves vulnerable to suffer. So keep in mind that this person is basically saying that black people, this is highest of the key of racism, because what she's saying is black folks cannot survive. She's putting them in this vulnerable class to suffer with freedom. I want you guys to process that. Nonetheless, this person went from being able to pull the race card, couldn't pull the race card, and she pulled the misogynist card again. And this is why I say that you guys are wasting your time not only just arguing with these people trying to use logic in a position that they only hold because of emotion. It's not just about that. That's part of it. That's a big part of it. But the main thing about the video was holding their feet to the fire and making them express and explain their own personal authoritarian views, as opposed to getting on the defense just because this person uses a buzz term. She up and called me a misogynist. Of course, there's no proof of it. All I said was every time. And she went straight into the misogynist thing. And I believe because her and I were going back and forth, and I was trying to, here we go. So she says, I was previously aware of you and your repulsive rhetoric. So I'm like, all right, what's the rhetoric that says I'm misogynist? And I'm like, okay, let's explain it. And she said, I call women H and B's. Now she didn't prove the latter, the former. No, the latter, excuse me. She didn't prove the latter. But her example was me calling that person that got Zuby reported for saying, "Okay, dude, a punk B," right? And I stand behind that. But the funny thing is that the person calls themselves this anyway. So it's not like I said anything that was out of line. Nonetheless, if you follow me on Twitter, I reserve this term. Let's just say it's gender neutral. I call you if you're that man. I think you're acting that way. If you're a woman, you're thinking acting that way. It doesn't really matter to me. But I'm trying to get her to express her views. This is what I say again. This is a waste of time. You shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right here. And she says, and again, look at you guys can read this over. Are you sure you have the right guy? She uses this. I say, blah, blah. She said, by your logic, white people should white people be able to use racial slurs? Basically, she's saying, well, she calls herself that, but I can't call her that. And it's like, well, I guess maybe she's conflating the N-word or something like that. And I said, racial slurs aren't exclusive to white people. Nonetheless, it's not proof I'm a misogynist. I've used this term to describe men too. And that would be what she would have to do to prove that I'm a misogynist, is that I'm using this term to, like, specifically, I guess, offend or insult women, I guess. But nonetheless, she goes right into this. Look at the way your people are speaking to me. This is what you promote, and it's disgusting. I'm like, look at the way that I'm speaking to you. What's the issue? So again, this person is just trying to pull as many oppression cards during the oppression Olympics that she can, because it never was about proving the point that she made about libertarianism. That had nothing to do with anything. Her point was to sort of demean, if you will, libertarianism, knock libertarianism, not prove it. So she couldn't pull a race card because I'm black. And then she pulls the misogynist card. I wonder what would have happened if I was a black female. What would she have said? She probably would pull like sexuality card. So I wonder if you're a black female lesbian, what she would say. Because I know black female lesbians, ironically enough, that are libertarian. But you see what I'm saying, man? This is why these types lead in their political conversations with this intersectionality buzz term bull job, is because they want you to be on the defense. They don't have to prove their claim. They won't. I just asked the person. I said, prove it. Just prove it. Couldn't prove it. It was just a card that she had. It's just like, we're dueling. She pulls the one trump card. Doesn't work because, I'm obviously a black libertarian. So the narrative that she had been trying to paint earlier in the day, and there's no black libertarians, or black libertarians, we're libertarians for white folks or whatever. She couldn't take that angle, right? Because she couldn't take that angle. She took a different angle. She pulled the misogynist card. This is how these types operate, bro. It's not about being honest. It's not about having some sort of honest, cordial dialogue or anything like that. They work backwards. It's, I want you to be this, so it doesn't matter how I have to get there. And this is why I say you're wasting your time arguing with these types. Using logic. They don't care for it. You cannot reason. This is where libertarians lose, because they get so offended by, not they, as in all of them. There are sectors of libertarians that get upset in how I speak, because I don't speak like, even no matter my following, I don't speak like I guess they think I should speak, and I think that's my appeal. Like, I'm a regular dude and I act like a regular dude. But this is why, because I'll go there with you. If you insult me, I'll insult you. Like, it's no biggie. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no biggie to me. If you take it there, like, I won't lead there, but if you take it there, I'll go there with you. My thing is that I have no issue using harsh rhetoric. And to be honest, I feel like that's a way that you have to, if you're going to get them out of their position, they got to their position by way of emotion. You're not reasoning a person out of a position that they got to, and they didn't use reason to get there. That's just the reality of the situation. You can't use logic to a person that didn't use logic to get to their position. You're not going to logic them out of their position. This is why I say it's largely a waste of your time. You're going to have to play some emotional appeal. Doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful. But I'm saying there's going to have to be some sort of more emotional appeal to get this person out of their position if you are going to convince them otherwise, because you're not going to reason and logic them out of their position. Use intellect in terms of not, you can use your intellect, but you're not going to be able to just give a person facts and they're going to be persuaded. That's not how it works. Because they didn't get to their position using that. They got to their position solely on emotion. This person right here had a trump card or the race card, couldn't pull it, grab the next one. Grab the next one. Simple as that. It was already ready. It was already handy. It's like if he, they got a black person. Is he no, it's not a trans guy, it's just a man. Oh man, I could pull the whole misogyny card. Like, come on, man. I will repeat time and time and time and time again. You cannot reason a person out of a position that they got to by way of emotion. I specifically did a video, I believe it was last week. It was only 2 minutes long, and I was bringing this up. What I did, you are wasting your time doing. I tried to get the person to at least provide the proof. You know what I mean? But what I said don't do was probably engage in that. But it was more so like, look, don't try to get on the defense, like proving like to them that you're not a misogynist. Like I didn't waste at the end of the day, I didn't do that. I was like, okay, you made this positive claim. I need you to prove it. Can't prove it. Of course you can, because her position, and like she tried to pull it. Oh, look at the way your people are speaking to me. Like, dude, that's not an argument. I'm asking you to provide the proof. Your proof was insufficient. It wasn't proof at all. Couldn't provide it. Why? Yeah. Find the end game, work backwards. It's not about telling the truth with these guys.